Hey everybody, it's me making another video today. Yesterday I gave you a WrestleMania predictions video, and yesterday I gave you a WrestleMania 25 prediction video. Today this is gonna be my WrestleMania series number 11, where I talk about the best heel turns out of WrestleMania. I just break down most of the heel turns that I have on here that happen at each WrestleMania. But before I get to that, I like to recommend this DVD right here. I don't know if you could see this. Viva La Raza, very good DVD. It's the legacy of Eddie Guerrero. You get all his classic matches in WCW and WWE, ECW. You get all the stories about Eddie Guerrero, about him being a good guy and him having passion for the wrestling business, and then him being a good guy backstage, and what a loving husband and family man he was, and just stuff like that. Very good DVD. It's got a lot of good extras on here. It's got the Guerrero, it's got the Los Guerreros outtakes, and there are many of the skits that they did. It's got Eddie Guerrero's last matchup. It's got Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho meeting for the first time, and it's got a bunch of extras and a lot of good matches on here. Recommend, if you haven't bought that DVD, I recommend buy it, because it's one of the best one of the best document DVDs I ever seen. I mean, there's a lot of them on there, but I would have to put that on there too. It's a very entertaining DVD, and I'm pretty sure if you see this DVD, you'll be entertained as well. And you also get you also get to see the matches, like the matches he had between JBL and Rey Mysterio. Very good DVD, and like I said, recommend it. For some of you who haven't bought that DVD yet, buy it. Very good DVD, excellent. Probably one of my favorite DVDs now to watch, because it's just a good DVD and it explains everything about Eddie Guerrero. Anyhow, let's get off that subject. Good DVD, recommend buy that. But yeah, let's get to the subject of this video. This is gonna, like I said in the beginning of this video, this is the best heel turns that happen at WrestleMania. So let's get started with the list of heel turns that happen at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania 5, the first one I got on here is WrestleMania 5, where Rick Martel turned on Tito Santana by walking out on him during a match. This was shocking at the time, because many people loved Strike Force. They were a good and quick team. They were like the Rockers before the Rockers came. And then of course people were just really mad. I mean, people thought this team would last for a while, but that wasn't the case. As Tito Santana ended up, Arn Anderson and Tito Santana reversed some moves or something, and then Arn Anderson switched Tito Santana right up to hit. Tito Santana to accidentally hit Rick Martel. Thus, Rick Martel will be dazed and kind of confused for a little bit. And then, of course, Tito Santana will go to tag Rick Martel, but he wouldn't go. Many people thought he was just dazed and he didn't know where he was. But then, of course, Rick Martel, when he tried to go again and try to tag Rick Martel didn't accept the tag. Then he went out and just walked out on them, and then he cut this great heel promo right after the match, well, leaving Tito Santana to get beat down by the Brainbusters and of course lose. And then after that, he will cut this really good heel promo where he would say that he was nothing, that he carried the team, and he was doing real good as a singles wrestler, and it's his time and this and that. But at the time, this was a really shocking heel turn at WrestleMania, because it was like one of the first heel turns you ever seen at WrestleMania 5, and it was pretty shocking. And of course, this set up the Rick Martel hero character that we all know and love, that Mr. Arrogance, as many people will call him, and he would have his run, but he wouldn't really do much. But still, at the time, you thought something was going to be done big with him, as they just turned him heel, and it was just shocking at the time to see, and probably one of the big heel turns that ever happened at WrestleMania. The next one I got on here is the heel turn with Bret Hart, where he turned heel during the matchup between Steve Austin, where at one point during the matchup the crowd was booing Bret Hart and they were cheering Austin. And then of course at the end, where after Bret Hart beat Steve Austin, he kept the sharpshooter on longer, cementing his heel turn, not wanting to let go, and the crowd booed the hell out of him. And then, of course, Ken Shamrock stepped in and he gave him he picked him up and he just dropped him. Well, he grabbed him and then he just threw him down, and of course that cemented Bret Hart's heel turn, as he would get mad and he would look at the crowd, and then of course he would walk out and then flip the crowd out. At this time it was really shocking, and it's the same thing like I said with the Austin face turn. It was wrestling at this time changed, and heels and rule breakers were getting booed, were getting cheered because it was a new era in wrestling, and then the classic babyface who shook hands with the crowd, like Rocky Maivia and wrestlers like that, they were getting booed. They didn't want to see wrestlers like, they didn't want to cheer for wrestlers like that. They wanted to cheer for the rule breakers. And this matchup and the Bret Hart heel turn is a perfect example of wrestling changing with the times. We then go to the next one on here with Triple H turning heel by, of course, aligning himself with China. Now, when I saw this, I thought I thought China and Triple H had reconciled and China was back with DX, but little did I know that that wasn't the case, as during a matchup between Shane McMahon and X-Pac was getting beat down because of the interference from Test and many other people from the corporation. Triple H came down and he started beating the members down, and he fended off the corporation, and looked like X-Pac was going to get a victory over Shane McMahon, but it wasn't the case, as Triple H kicked X-Pac and then he pedigreed him, and then he put Shane McMahon on top of X-Pac, and then of course Shane McMahon will win and retain the title. And this was pretty shocking at the time because many people were DX fans and they didn't want to see Triple H join the corporation, but he did that and thus cemented his heel turn. And this is where the game and that persona will be born, as Triple H would have a really good heel run. But at the time this was shocking, and many people didn't want to see DX break up because DX was still big at this point. But Triple H turned heel and really shocked the hell out of me. Even I think I even drew a tear because I didn't want to see this happen, but it happened, and thus of course it led to Triple H's run as a heel, but really shocking at the time at WrestleMania. The next one we got on here is the Vince McMahon heel turn, where he turned on The Rock. Many people thought The Rock would win the match, win the WWE title, but Vince McMahon ended up coming in the ring and he grabbed the chair and he ended up hitting The Rock instead of Triple H. And of course that would lead to Triple H winning the title. At this time, people were shocked. They didn't think Vince was going to go back to his old ways of turning heel, but that wasn't the case, as Vince McMahon turned heel, joined up with Triple H, and of course Shane McMahon will be the next one to join the next night on Raw. But this was pretty shocking at the time at WrestleMania because no one thought Vince McMahon would turn heel again, but that's what ended up happening. The next one I got on here, the final one, was when Austin aligned himself with Vince McMahon, thus turning him heel. It all started when Vince McMahon came out during the matchup between Rock and Austin. Many people didn't know what Vince McMahon was doing out to the ring. They thought he was probably going to help The Rock, or he was just trying to screw both over. But it all kind of made sense when Vince McMahon pulled The Rock out of the ring when The Rock made the cover on Austin after the People's Elbow. Of course, Austin would rock bottom him, and Rock would kick out. Austin would ask for the chair, which many people would think, why is Austin asking Vince McMahon to get a chair? And it kind of made sense, as Vince McMahon helped Austin, as he would grab The Rock and he would grab The Rock, and then Austin would hit him with the chair. Rock kicked out, and then of course Austin beat the hell out of Rock with those chair shots, and of course Austin pinned him. And then of course after that they shared a beer with each other, and that cemented Austin's heel turn. Really shocking at the time because no one expected Austin to turn heel, but at the time you could see that WWE was changing, as Austin would be heel for the most part of 2001, but really at the time it was shocking. Even I had my jaws just dropped after seeing that, because I didn't think I would never believe in a million years Austin and McMahon would join forces. Anyhow, I'm running out of time. Rate, comment.